Hey guys, I'm Davey Wavey, creator of the gay erotic website Himeros.tv, and today I am joined by sex and intimacy coach Finn Deerhart and my best friend Matthew Thomas and my boyfriend Chad. And today we're talking about needing a good fuck, which consequently I could use right about now. Hint, hint.
Me too.
Yeah, same.
No pressure. But it has to be a good fuck.
A good fuck.
Himeros Live is sponsored by Himeros.tv. Quick history lesson. We're switching it up today. While the current rainbow flag has 6 colors, most people don't realize that the original rainbow flag, designed by the late Gilbert Baker, had 8 colors, and each color represented a different aspect of pride. And pink, a color which was later dropped for the current rainbow flag, symbolized sex. So for me, our gay sex is an important and intrinsic aspect of our sexuality. And I think it's truly one of our greatest gifts, not just to ourselves, but really to the entire world. And that is something that definitely deserves to be cultivated and really celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
We have come a long way. Most of us, myself included, were taught that gay sex was wrong or evil. And we overcame religious persecution. We overcame the stigma and shame that was passed down to us by our families, by society, by our culture. And yet here we are, joyfully connecting with other men in an abundance of sexual ecstasy. So the journey from shame to joy, from stigma to celebration is not an easy one. And in a world with increasing censorship and with an uncertain trajectory, it's really true that our gay sex is more important than ever. So for a limited time, we're offering a special Pride discount on Himeros.tv to make our content more accessible to more people. You're invited to join Himeros.tv for just $13.99 per month. By taking advantage of this special offer, you'll save 60% on your month-to-month membership. Just visit himeros.tv/pride. That's himeros.tv/pride. Together, let's put the gay sex back in pride.
Whew, that was quite the monologue.
And that's all we have time for this week. So, how are you guys? What's going on?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm like metabolizing this whole last week on the shoot, and I actually have a little bit of grief that it's over and getting back into the swing of my life. And I've been really busy today. So
you're having withdrawals.
I am actually. Yeah. It's like a retreat coming to a close and like summer camp over, and my life will never be the same.
Yeah. Well, Matt, you're kind of the odd one out because we were in all 3 of us were in Toronto. I'm still in Toronto. Chad and I are still in Toronto. But Finn was here because we filmed 8 videos for Himeros.tv. We did 4 videos based on Finn's concepts, Finn's program called Elements of Desire, which Finn, I was trying to find that little blurb that you wrote, like the little voiceover. Yeah. Do you still remember it?
I think so. Let me try. Hold on. Elements of Desire is a 4-part video series designed to help you have better sex and uncover a deeper understanding of what it means for you to be an erotic being. Often when we want to have sex, we're actually looking for love, lust, license, luxury, one of those things. And we're going to explore exactly that by harnessing the power of each element to deepen your expression. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
I only said it 50 times in front of the camera, but that's the first time I said it since Wednesday.
Yeah. So we filmed that. That was 4 videos. And then we filmed 4 videos for the Netflix style erotic series that for Himeros TV called Journeys, which Matt, I know I've mentioned to you before. We've been planning it for like probably half a year. And it's about a guy that's recovering from the death of his partner, which it makes it sound really like, it sounds really, well, it is sad, but it's also really hot and like juicy. It's deep. It works on a lot of levels. And we had especially for a lot of gay men, like particularly gay men that lived through like the AIDS epidemic. And we filmed it with Calvin Banks, Ray Dexter, Chris Harder, Will Tantra, and a bunch of other guys as kind of like secondary characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm proud of it. It was a really ambitious project, and Finn did an awesome job as always, workshopping with the guys and supporting everyone during filming, making sure everyone was really connected. And Chad did an awesome job as production assistant, making sure that everyone had Red Bull.
And everything.
Yeah, sufficiently caffeinated. So, Finn, go ahead, Matt.
Look, I was going to say, when can we expect the content to see it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's going to probably not be out until August, which it just takes a long time to edit. And, but I think it's going to be really good. And Finn, I'm curious because now you've had a couple of days to like process it. What are you thinking and feeling?
Well, it was a lot. Actually, when I got to, I went to therapy last night, and I just was noticing as I was telling her all the stuff that was going on for me, that a lot really came up. And I don't know if it's just, well, for one, I am a sensitive being, and then also just being in the role that I was in, and kind of going into the different spaces. Particularly, one of the scenes there really brought up a lot for me, the basement scene. I really went into that with them, and I think that was challenging for me to be in those feelings that I've had from the past in my own self. And I guess that scene is designed exactly to do that. But it really brought up stuff for me. And then also just on the elements work, it was so cool to see that realized. I've been working on that project actually for a couple of years. It's been in development. It's been born of workshops that I've done, but to see the guys take the concepts, act them out in their own ways, and put it out in front of me, like it's this extension of work that I've even done in my own self. I could see places where I've grown a lot, but I could also see places where I still want to grow just through watching them. And so that was a lot for me to take in too. Like, even though I'm teaching this work, it's always kind of showing me new areas of my edges, and that's something that I experience. And so I'm kind of taking that in, and just being on a high too. I was kind of on a high that came down.
Yeah. No, I feel it.
Totally.
I feel it too. Matt, this was our first time where we worked with someone for one of our videos who was straight.
Like as a model, or like
Yeah.
Oh wow.
By nominally straight, meaning that's what he says he is in the world.
Finn does not want to believe it. Finn, I think you're projecting on it.
I just think that those roles are a lot more fluid than they are fixed. And this guy's straight, quote unquote, but he's fucked a dude on camera for us, and he's done that for other companies. So it makes me go, well, what is straight?
How did you find this guy?
We got connected with him through, there was like a talent manager or something here in Toronto. And the reason I wanted to film here was because there's just so many talented people here that I was like, oh, it'll be super easy to cast this project. It turns out like all four of our main characters, we had to fly in from like other countries.
Oh, wow.
Because it's just really hard to find guys that can not just act, who can not just fuck, but also act.
Mm-hmm.
People can either act or they can fuck, or they can act and they can fuck, but they're not willing to fuck on camera. And we needed them to do both.
They did a really awesome job, though, I think.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah.
So the straight guy, his name is Marcus Cage, and there's this scene. I don't think I'm giving too much away, but it's a basement scene. And Calvin, who's the main character, he like goes on this date. The date's like a disaster. And on his way home from the date, he's like cruising people on the street. So he cruises Marcus, who's the straight guy, and they kind of like follow each other into the basement of like a nearby house or warehouse. You can't really tell what it is. They just like go into the basement, and Marcus basically just like presses his face like into the floor.
Into the concrete. Yeah, into the concrete.
And then just like fucking like
rails the living daylight out of him.
Yeah, he fucks him and like shot a giant load all over his hole. And I was scared because it was like bringing a straight guy into set. We talked so much about like creating a container for these projects and making sure everyone feels safe. And like energetically, I really didn't know what we were going to encounter with this guy. And he's also like big. He's like 230 pounds. He's muscular.
Beefcake.
Yeah. But the bitch was outnumbered because everyone else was like gay on set. So I think he was very aware of that. Like he might've been bigger than us, but there were more of us than him. So he behaved himself.
He was really sweet. I thought he was actually really sweet.
He was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. and he opened up once Finn started talking to him about like lifting and but
You gotta find a
since
connection point with somebody. You know, it's like my job's helping fill there, like with everyone. So we're gonna talk about the gym.
and the sex that we were filming, like in this instance, usually the sex we film is about it being like connected and intimate, and like that's not what the scene was. It was just like someone fucking someone in the basement, like they like just, you know, like it was supposed to be an animalistic, almost like anonymous, just like breed my whole kind of fuck fest. I just said,
yeah, and even in like the script, it was like, you know, he didn't feel anything. He was in deep grief, and he just wanted to feel something. So he's trying to access, you know, like essentially like healing from all of his pain through this physical experience. And I think that's what was really bringing up stuff for me. Like as I was watching it dramatized in front of me, it was also in this dirty basement, and it's like down under the house, and all these like shadowy feelings. And I can totally relate to that psychological place and his pain, you know, like, and I think, you know, Calvin brings his own experience to the table in that way that it was like really like palpable. And so I just felt a lot, you know, just watching it. Yeah, totally.
I think some people are gonna be super turned on by it, and some people are gonna be like I'm not. I don't think you're gonna think it's hot. I don't think you're gonna be super into it. Like
I'm just stuck on the fact that this man is what kind of straight is he? What did you call him?
I said nominally.
Nominally
yeah.
straight. I'm sorry.
Like
straight adjacent.
Name, not practice. But, you know, to I think what this scene is really awesome for, though, is it like really like provides like this pillar to contrast like all the other sex that was had in there and his memories of his partner, and that's kind of what it was for.
And you obviously don't allow like any drugs or anything on set. So like anytime you've told me about a straight guy being in a porn based on your experience, Dave, is that drugs more often than not happen to be involved. So I'm just shocked that this man got it up, gave it to him raw, you know, just came all over him and was like, that's that.
Right.
So, well, it's okay. But so just to clarify, so Viagra has been kind of a point of contention that we've talked with the models about, because in the past we've always said that we don't want any performance enhancing drugs on set, and a lot of the models have given us pushback that saying like when they take a Viagra, it just allows them to not focus on their dick, but more on like the content we're trying to create. So especially on a shoot like this where they're literally acting, like it's not it's not about authenticity, right?
Yeah,
it's about telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he took a Viagra, right, Finn?
I don't know about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he did. He said to
a slow acting one.
He said if Calvin sucks his dick, it would help him get hard. I don't know. Chad, did you think he was hot?
Eventually, it got hard.
I didn't know.
You didn't think he was hot?
Not my top.
Tight.
Yeah.
Chad thinks everyone is hot. Like we were just talking about this today. I was like, man,
not everyone, but I have a wide variety of tastes.
Tall, short, skinny, hairy, smooth, old, young. Like he doesn't even care.
God bless
I
you.
really admire that. And the world is your oyster.
Seriously.
Yeah. So anyway, that was pretty fun. In other news, we need to talk about this whole straight pride parade thing.
Right?
I am so excited.
It's in Boston. You're gonna go to you're gonna fly in.
I'm gonna go to straight pride.
Yeah, you should fly in for it.
You'll be the closest one to it, won't you, Dave?
Well, yeah, Chad too. Chad's actually going to gay pride in Boston, which I'm not going to. So it's not the same weekend though, right? It's different.
No, I think it was the same. I think they planned it for the same day.
Oh, I thought it was in
like
August.
a protest.
I think it's planned for the same day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, look, like I'm old enough to know that this shit, like it literally happens every pride where someone like brings up like the whole straight pride thing, and now like look, it's a hot topic and we're talking about it. But like, I think it's worth talking about it for a minute because especially for people who are listening, like I think probably a lot of their straight friends like probably feel, not a lot of them, but there's straight people out there who feel the same way and they don't really get it. So I thought it makes sense for us just to talk about it for a minute so that like everyone listening, when they need to explain it to, Uncle Joe at your next family barbecue, you'll have the language to do it. And I will say that, as a side note, if I put myself into the shoes of a straight person, which would probably be very ugly shoes for that matter, most likely because they're straight. If I do that, I can see what the argument is, which is I could see them saying, well, gay people want to be treated equally, so then we shouldn't treat them differently by like throwing a parade that is based on their sexual orientation or their gender identity. Like, they want equality. Well, straight people don't get pride, so why should gay people get pride? That's equality. And I think there's probably straight people who think, well, if gay people are going to celebrate their orientation, we should celebrate our orientation too. And they're kind of missing the whole point. I have my thoughts, but at the risk of spilling into another monologue, I will open the floor for you all to express yours. So what do you say to that?
I mean, I just think it's stupid. I'm sorry. I'm not like the really like nice one amongst us. Like, I think that's absolutely stupid. If someone
So you're going to tell Uncle Joe he's stupid?
I'm going to tell Uncle Joe you're a fucking idiot is what I'm going to tell Uncle Joe. At the end of the day, the GLBTQ community is marginalized in different parts of the world, and our sexuality is not celebrated. And quite frankly, that's the reason why we're getting a moment, we're getting a month where it could have a little focus on us and also bring some awareness to people. At the end of the day, if you are straight, great, but you don't have to worry when you go on a job interview if you sound masculine enough or if you're going to fit in. There are so many different instances where your sexuality may make you feel afraid to be who you are. And for one moment at one time, you can be around people and feel safe, and you can express yourself, and you can share in that experience and hopefully educate some people in the process. That's the point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two things. I remember as a kid when Black History Month, people would say like, well, when is White History Month going to be? So I mean, yeah, like Matthew's saying, it's like, it's testimony to the need, because we are marginalized. So it's like an assertion of, making a claim at like our legitimacy. But I'm curious about what you're saying, Matthew, about educating people. I feel like I haven't had an educational moment at Pride.
I did. I mean, because I will say that even as someone who's gay, and Dave can attest to this, was it last year we went to Houston Pride, Dave? Mm-hmm. Was it the year before?
2 years ago?
2 years ago. And I had my own idea of what I thought Pride was, because prior to Houston Pride, I think I drove past Atlanta Pride when I lived in Atlanta for like 7 or 8 years, but I never went, because I always thought that it was just drinking and like kind of like a circuit party was what I thought it would be. And when we went to Houston, I was blown away to see how many families were there. How many gay parents had their kids there, how, there were like spots on the actual parade where you could like get information about getting tested, or just answering like general questions and things. So there was something that just I never expected to ever see. So the idea of what I thought it was, I was totally wrong.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Have you ever been, Chad, to a Pride parade?
No, this is my first one.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this weekend.
Oh wow.
What are your expectations?
I think, considering it's not a large city, I'm going to Boston Pride. I think it'll be like a small scale one.
It's going to be huge.
No, compared to like New York, like World Pride.
New York Pride is like 4 hours long parade, but Boston's still going to be really big.
Yeah, Boston.
I'm ready for it.
Big.
You're ready for it.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready to take on whatever is coming my way, but I don't really have any like experience about what it's going to be like, but I'm really excited to be surrounded by like so many gay people who are all just being themselves and being genuine and real.
Yeah. I cried through my first Pride parade because I like you're different and like the world now is different, but I had, especially coming from like the background that I came from, it was a lot to see people celebrating their sexuality so openly, and really like a lot of it is circuit parties and people drinking and debauchery, but they're celebrating. Like that's what you do when you celebrate. And I think what they're celebrating is this like really deep, rich history that we have of staunch motherfuckers who have made this world possible. So, you know, when we throw a parade, we're celebrating our sexuality in the context of that history in a world that has like for, you know, centuries treated us like shit for being who we are. And I think to just to bring it back to Uncle Joe, like historically, like straight non-cis people are the oppressors, right? Like they're not the oppressed. He hasn't had a hardship for being straight. Like people don't kill themselves for being straight. Religion hasn't marginalized him for being straight. So he doesn't need a straight pride parade. And every fucking day of his life is a straight pride parade. Every time he walks down the street and no one looks. Even today in Toronto, like a super progressive city, you know, Chad and I are holding hands walking down the street, and like people are like, looking at our hands, like, oh.
I just think. Go on.
What do you think? What do you think?
Go for it.
Tell me. So, well, I was just gonna say to you again, like when you were talking about educating people, I was thinking you meant to the world at large. You know, like educating the straight people that are protesting. And I misunderstood what you were saying. You're talking about educating people that are there because all the services and all the different like facets of what comes together at Pride, which I would agree with. And there's what I think the value of it all is this communal thing. It's like community, and we need community. And it helps us define that, and it's a celebration of that because there are all levels of gayness there, you know. And I actually personally like it when straight people come, and I hear, you know, mixed like feelings about all that. I think I want people there. I mean, not if someone's just gawking and, you know, like, oh my God, look at all the gays, but being there in a communal way to be like, we support you and we want the world to be better for you. I love that. Yeah,
I agree.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I take it back.
Since we're in Toronto, I will say this is the city where I feel like the most it's like the most family centric pride that I've ever seen. It's like 1 million people come out, and like the vast majority of those are families and kids and grandparents, and it's really about like celebrating diversity. More so than like the like drunken debauchery, but all right, I think we beat that question. So boom, there you go. Oh my God, Chad and I had our first tantric session this past week.
How was that? Well, what happened in it?
Okay, so it was with Will Tantra, who was in this last project that we did. And he did, I guess, a 90-minute session with us.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to expect, like going into it. He's super respectful and like really sweet. I was just like, when you hear tantric session, like it just sounds it sounds scary. Like,
what scares you?
I think I didn't know if I was gonna like feel like I was being violated in some way, like if I'm too prude for it, like what the touch was gonna be like. You were just whatever. You were
I had no hangups about it. I was like, let's go, let's get it.
So I think we did like there were 3 components to it. The first was an undressing.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was like a very intentional, slow, methodical way of like giving your partner attention and making sure that they feel you, like your presence. And it wasn't so much about like reciprocation. Like I think most oftentimes in instances where you're being intimate with someone and the clothes are coming off, you're both trying to like rip each other's clothes off. And it was so much more about like slow, simple touches and how you can really create like a almost like a mini game out of taking the clothes off. It was like a cute little striptease.
Yeah, and you'd use just like the tips of your fingers, like very, very lightly, like on their face and on their body. But Will was doing it with us, so like he was undressing. It was like two people undressing you at the same time. But he wasn't like what, Matt?
It wasn't groping.
Okay, go on.
And was he naked at that point?
No.
At that point.
Oh my God. Matthew, you're next, brother.
Go on.
We already got you a session. You're lined up. It's happening.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So then we were both naked. So he felt odd. He's like the odd one out.
Yeah.
God forbid. Go on.
He asked though. He was really sweet with it. He was like, "Is this okay with you?" He's like, "I want to create like an atmosphere of like, was it like consistency or something like that?"
I don't know. Yeah, he wanted to be consistent. If we're naked, he's naked.
Yeah.
So then he took this butt plug that was like roughly the size of this microphone.
Yeah, a little bit bigger.
Stop playing with me.
He didn't do that.
So then he taught us, he does a lot of massage, like erotic massage and massage techniques. And he taught us like 5 or 6 different like massage strokes for each other's bodies. Like it wasn't even like cock focus. It was just like,
it was awesome.
Like circular massage and then like compressions. And he's doing it as we're doing it, but it wasn't any more, I don't know. It was fine.
It wasn't any more sexually intense as a regular.
He wasn't jerking anyone off. But I think like that could be part of it. Like if you wanted it to go there, but this was like a very like first step, just getting my little toes wet.
Yeah.
You got them wet.
and then the last part, we had to ask each other for like things that we wanted. So it was kind of similar to Pulse Switch, the video we talked about before. So we each had 5 minutes, and so I said to Chad, I said like, I want you to, I don't know what the hell I said. I know one of them. I said I want you to pretend that my nipples are bowls of water, and I want you to lap them up like you've been in the desert for 40 days.
Really descriptive with it.
Yeah, he said like be
details.
specific as possible.
Details.
So I had you spit in my mouth. I had you like lick my feet. I don't know. No one cares. So anyway, we're going to go into details.
I care. I want more details.
I have one question about this spit in the mouth thing.
Yeah, it's not a drool. If that's what you're about to ask.
That was my question. Is it a true like spit or is it a drool? Because I've experienced both. And I'm just curious to know, like, how do you define spit in the mouth?
Well, tell.
Okay, so this is actually really funny. Dave asked me to spit in his mouth one time, like maybe a month or 2 ago, and I did the wicked slow, like droopy drool into his mouth, and it like completely like if there was music to go along with the moment, it was a shutter stop. It was like it kind of it dampened down the mood a lot, but this time it was more like a fast and less saliva filled.
Do you want us to demonstrate?
Yes. Look at his smile. He smiles.
Happy Pride, everyone. So that's what we did. Was there anything else I'm missing? Like it was those 3 components. Yeah.
What did you ask for, Chad?
I'm trying to think. I asked to be choked at one point. I asked for I think I asked for a bunch of different things, to be like pinned down, grab my hands.
Yeah, you were very subby.
Yeah, I have like massage, a little massage action.
And then we did something else about like matching our breath to each other. Remember?
Oh, hand on the heart.
Yeah. Well, and the other hand on the dick.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. We were doing something where we were like jerking each other off. But he's just holding kind of the space, and he didn't stick his, it wasn't like, he wasn't jerking us off.
It wasn't aggressive, and it wasn't about him being there. It was more just facilitating the space for us.
That's the thing. It wasn't about, none of this was for him. It was for us, which is why we were paying him for it.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't He wasn't trying to like soak it in and like.
Sure. He doesn't go back to his room or do anything and think back in his head like what the hell happened today. Sure.
I hope he did.
Suspicion. And what if he did? What if he did?
Yeah, what if he did?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's
like an assumption about all that too. Go ahead, Davey.
I was gonna say like in a lot of the stuff that we do in our videos, it's about giving and receiving. And I felt like what we were doing there was giving and receiving. It wasn't taking.
Right. That's where I was headed.
Yeah.
Giving, receiving, taking, and being taken from. They're all different dynamics that we need. And maybe I would say like in a hookup, you're taking, right? Or you being taken from willingly. And this is more about setting a space for you two to be able to connect with each other in a way that might have some edge to it, and that's a different thing. Something about having the space too lays down a psychological safety just to go into some unfamiliar territory. Yeah. And all those assumptions around like, oh God, what's this is going to be like? I told you I had that too when I went to see him, and it kind of evaporated and I felt super safe. It changed a lot about my sexual connection. I'm curious too, if like there's been like an ensuing shift between you both in how you connect with each other.
I don't think so.
No, not really.
Well, tomorrow we're filming a video all day, which is called, I need to close this blind. It's like blinding me.
Good lighting.
Do you mind closing that? Or do you like the lighting?
I like the lighting.
Okay, well then there you go. We're filming a video tomorrow called Making Love All Day, where we're gonna like stay home all day, and it's based on the upcoming Himeros TV video. So that I think we'll have the whole day to like practice some of these things and really check in with each other. So that'll be fun. So I don't really have a transition to this so much, but do you guys know anything about your parents' sex lives?
If I did, you think I'm gonna talk about that on here?
Yeah.
Like, does it gross you out to like? So Chad and I were talking about this today when we were walking around, and I was like, "Oh, I have to bring this up today," because he was saying that. Can I say this? Your parents have?
They probably don't watch this.
Yeah, I hope they don't watch this. They have a very, as I just like spit in your mouth. They have a healthy sex life. Like they have a lot of sex, and I was kind of thinking like that's awesome. Like I hope my parents have passion like that. I want them to have a healthy and happy sex life. Is that disgusting?
No, not at all.
Why would that be disgusting?
Most people are like really freaked out by the idea of their parents like having sex.
How do they think they got here?
Well, so then Chad took it to the next level. He's like, well, do you think your parents have the same kinks as you?
Do you think it's genetic? Like the kinks that you have that you're into?
I do think there's some truth to that. I do.
Thank you.
I do.
I don't actually.
I do.
Why do you think that, Matt?
I can't say, but I do.
I think it's more complex than that, honestly. I don't think it's not immediately, mom like that, so do I. Is that why are you uncomfortable, Matthew?
I just don't want to talk about my parents. That's all.
The conversation is kinky for you in and of itself.
I've come across things over the years. I'm sorry, that's my hotel room phone. I don't know why it's ringing.
Did you answer? Is it room service?
It's your mom.
Right? She's like, but I've just come across things. My parents divorced, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. But in that time, getting to know them both better and differently, I've just learned different things about the both of them. And even like when they were married, like there are things that, I've learned about them. But yes.
Is it things that you found, like toys or something?
Things that I've found, things that I've like accidentally read, just things that I've come across.
How do you accidentally read something about your parents' sex life?
I've done that too, Matt.
Thank you.
That sounds like accidentally snooping.
It was 100% snooping, but I was looking for something else.
Thank you, Chad. I was looking for something else. No, but there is Listen, things happen. Things happen. You come across things, and when I read it, it didn't gross me out. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, Dad.
Okay,
Wow. Look at you.
I think a lot of our kinks are shaped by like experiences that imprint on us. Like I've mentioned before, like that like jock straps, and I can think back to like in middle school when like the like star athlete jock like put his jock strap in someone else's face, and like I jerked off thinking about it for the rest of my life. Like these things kind of they make impressions on us, but like genetically, like I have really sensitive nipples. So like maybe my mom or dad has sensitive nipples, and maybe that has opened them to a kink. Maybe it's like a combination of all that.
If anybody could ask their parents anything like that, it would be you.
It would be him, right? Thank you. That's what I said.
Were you trying to like build a consensus against me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
Thank you. Thank
There's
you.
no historical data on this. I'm just trying to gather the samples.
Sure, you could ask them in front of all of us, and you'd get an answer.
I could not ask my parents if they have sensitive nipples.
Sure,
yeah, you could.
But why can't
I
you?
would probably ask one.
Oh, why can't you?
No, we don't like they know what I do, but like we don't get into like
Well, you could phrase it like, I'm having an issue with my nipples. Mom, are your nipples sensitive too? Like my doctor just said I
That's
have
not
sensitive
awkward.
Yeah. I used to suck on her nipples.
Right? We
No
all did.
shit.
No, not her, not your mom. Not your mom.
Sorry, I even asked this question.
No, I have to say several things. One, I used to think my parents stuff all the time. And I found all kinds of stuff in my parents' room, and I showed it to my sister. I ended up getting in big trouble about it. My parents were really upset, specifically my dad. I think my mom just was like mortified, but dad was pissed. So early on, I was in this like Snoopy going through their drawers, looking for stuff always. It was just like such a taboo subject in my life and my family that I just was always on the search for more information. But now they're divorced anyway, and my mom is just like adamantly against any relationship or any kind of sex. And I wish to God that she would have sex, because I really want her to have attention and affection. Yeah. And about my dad, I don't know. We haven't talked in a really, really long time.
Like, did you find like a specific like kinky toy or something?
They just had all kinds of toys. Like they were part of this Adam and Eve company, and they like got like, you know, shipments at the house of like different kinds of dildos and cock rings and flavored condoms and just like kind of, I don't know, silly like straight people sex toys.
Why were they wearing condoms? Well, because they weren't on birth control.
Right. They weren't on birth control, and they'd already had 3 of us. Mom was like tired. You know.
Like I'm done.
Wow. So, okay.
Yeah, and I was fascinated by it. I mean, I went through this drawer, like every time they were gone, I would go through it, look for stuff, got really excited, would whack off. And
did you ever steal the dildos and try them out for yourself?
I stole condoms from it, not dildos. I did snatch little things from it. They had this like shipment apparently coming in like monthly.
What?
Wow. Yeah, it's like one of those clubs that you join, and I don't know. This is like in the 90s, so.
All right. Well, we should talk. Fascinating. we need to talk about this week's video. It is titled "Need a Good Fuck," and it features Wyndham Gold and Wesley Woods. It's basically a 15-minute video, and what I love about this video is that the fucking doesn't even start until you're like 12 minutes in. It's called "Need a Good Fuck." You're like waiting for the fuck, waiting for the
good fuck.
Yeah. Instead, I mean, really, what you get is this like master class in like opening up a bottom, making him want it, giving an external and then an internal anal massage. Wesley uses his tongue, he uses his fingers, his knuckles, like just about everything. And it's just, I think it was like glorious to watch it. And it's something that you don't really see in porn very often. Like the transition into fucking is usually very quick and very, very like methodical, and it was based on a workshop that Jason Tantra did for us, and so he was kind of like standing off camera, like helping Wesley kind of coordinate the different anal massage techniques. So, what did you guys think of this video?
I dug it. I thought it was really, you know what I really loved about it too is this context around it of like he was like nourishing him. Like he would, Wyndham Gold was like talking about how he was overwhelmed and this and this and that, and he had all this stuff on his mind. And so Wesley gave him this, or helped create this experience for him to let go of control. And I think a lot of times when we're in a space of overwhelm, what's overwhelming us is this like feeling of burden of like needing to do all these things. And like he was relieved of that burden for a while. He just got like taken, and I like how subby he is in the video. I just love subby energy like that. And then at the end he was like, well, how do you feel now? And so I know it just it was really cool. Cause I know like in those moments, sometimes when I'm like overwhelmed, I just want someone to do that. And I could relate to both sides of that equation in this video.
It was about using like anal massage and anal play to release anxiety and tension. Like sometimes you just need a good fuck. What do you think, Matt?
I liked it when it opened. I was kind of shocked for a second. I was like, "Oh, we got a little script going." I'm like, "We don't hear your voice this week." So I was like,
from the norm.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, come on, dialogue." And then I liked that in terms of the dialogue that they had. The guy that was getting fucked was explaining how he was feeling, and the top made it all about him. There was no like back and forth. Like while the dialogue wasn't a lot, it was enough that there was like an actual story of like, oh wow, he's like really making it about him and paying attention to him and how he feels, and in his own way trying to help him feel better and maybe give him a bit of an escape at the same time. So I liked it.
And Chadwick.
Yeah, I thought like
yeah. By the way, he just was grabbing my hole while you were talking. I think we were paying enough attention to him, and so
no, it wasn't about that.
Yeah, stuck his finger up my ass.
Yeah, I thought
your finger.
It was the big one.
There we go.
Yeah, I really like how you mentioned, Matt, about how Wesley was really purposeful and intentional to make it about him. And although the other guy was being submissive to it, it wasn't feeling like dominated as if he was taking something. It was almost like he was dominating, but he also was giving at the same time, which I feel like is very like juxtaposed in what dominating typically is or how it's perceived. In terms of the video itself, I thought the shots were really beautiful, and it felt really like warm and inviting and like sunny and comfortable in the fireplace. I don't know, it evoked a lot of like really like comfortable energy.
It's funny because what you guys like don't see in that video is like the fucking like fireplace was like backing up. There was like smoke billowing into the room. We're filming it in Joshua Tree, a windy day.
They're coughing.
Yeah, and the fire was so loud. It was like crackling.
I love that.
It was loud, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, we couldn't. We were. A lot of the feedback we've gotten from people is that like in past projects we've done a lot of almost like music video effect, like the music gets very loud and like you don't really hear the guys moaning and groaning, and people like that. And I think part of the reason we haven't captured it is because it's like really expensive to have an audio person there, and it gives you a lot less flexibility. Everyone has to get really quiet to capture it because there's usually other stuff going on at the same time, like the next group of people are prepping, lunch is arriving, whatever
it is.
Yeah, as we learned this past project, which was all dialogue. Like we
were silent.
We're in this giant house, like
creaking house. It was nonstop. Every move you made, you could hear from like the third story up.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it makes it more complicated to film. But I think people really enjoy it, and I enjoyed hearing like the moaning and the groaning as opposed to just like listening to music. I thought that was fun. Was there even any music in this video?
No.
Yeah.
No, and go ahead.
I was just gonna say if people want to see it at home and they're not members, they can go to himeros.tv for just himeros.tv, and you can see like a 30-second preview. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my opinion is that being the top and giving in that way, there's a reciprocity for him too. I mean, it's not just like all about the bottom or, oh, if I don't dominate you, it's not about me. I mean, there's just different templates and how we access that space. And I think it's really rewarding to be able to give that to somebody. And topping isn't, or having someone be submissive isn't about necessarily forcing them into that space. It's about inspiring them to go into it. And that's what it looked like between those guys. Is he held space for Wyndham to just. Why are y'all smiling? This is.
I'm listening.
Well, he's like holding space for him to like really sexually express the way he's already expressing. He's like, oh, I feel overwhelmed and I've got all this stuff. And he's like, yeah. Here, let's just switch this into something really sexy. And you keep on being that way. And that's what he did, and let him let go. Why are y'all laughing though?
His hand's down my pants right now.
Oh,
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I had something I wanted to say about that. I was listening.
About your hand in his pants?
No, about what you were just saying about the giving. And I know what I was gonna say is that when you're giving to someone like that, you like he's receiving then the pleasure that his partner is getting. Like there's like the satisfaction of knowing that you're pleasuring someone. Like you said this to me the other day because you've said I'm the only person that you've ever really bottomed for. And I was like, well, do you like it? And you were like, well, I like giving you pleasure or making you feel good. And I was like, yeah, but do you like it? And you're like, well,
I like that you like it. And that's what I like about it.
But it sounds like in your tantric session, you really opened up a little bit to that though. Once there were some controls in place.
Sticking my dick up his ass.
Yet.
Yeah. So anyway, you guys should check it out at home. It's very pretty. It's a great video. Lovely. All right, let's answer some questions that you guys sent from home. Hey, Matt, do you want to read question number 1?
I just have more questions about Chad bottoming.
All right, question number 1
Question
comes
number
from
1 from Finn Deerheart.
I have a question about.
Wait. No, Finn, do you really have a question?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, what
So
is it?
So around bottoming, is it like, because like I just said in that tantric session, you were expressing desire for some of these submissive energies, and to be aspected in certain ways, and it felt safe for you to do that in that space. Is it about like you just don't like the sensation of anything in your butt? Just physically, or is it there's like a little bit of a fear around what that means for you, or giving up the role that you typically play? Do you have any inkling around that?
I think it's definitely the physical stimulus that I like get from it. It doesn't feel good for me. Like it doesn't matter if it's a finger or like a dick. It's like regardless of that, I just don't feel that like ecstatic. Like every time I've topped for someone and they've had like a crazy good experience, I'm always like, what is that like? Like what are they experiencing that I am not? And in my experiences when I have bottomed, I never really felt that like amazing ecstasy style emotion.
Okay.
I don't think it's mental at all, because even when I've done both, where I've been like kind of a submissive bottom and a more like dominant power bottom style to it. And I yeah.
But and yet, like when you bottom, like it
doesn't. You think it does, but it doesn't. I know exactly what he's gonna say. He's like, you come so much quicker when you bottom. Not true.
Definitely true. Like I stick my dick up his ass and he comes like 5 minutes later.
Well, but there's time for all this to be explored. I'll just say that.
What Matt? I can tell.
No, I'm interested now.
Well, I was gonna say that may not have anything to do with him bottoming, but that could have everything to do with the way that he feels about you.
Dun dun dun.
All right, and on that note, let's go to question number
Hold
1.
on, I'm coming.
Well, I'm happy that y'all are sharing all that too, because a lot of boyfriends are experiencing dynamics. They're all over the place with some of those things, and it does evolve and change a lot. So it could, and maybe it won't, and who knows.
Question numero uno. I have a question about douching. What is the best position to douche in? I've heard some people go on all fours or just down and squat up. What works best?
It says squat up.
I'm sorry, squirt up. Squirt up. I thought it was supposed to be like
squat.
squat.
It's missing the R.
I picked squat when I saw squat, but I think he meant squirt up.
Is it squirt or squat?
Squirt up.
I don't know how to answer this question. If it's
on all fours or just down and squirt up.
I'm down to squirt up right now.
Yeah, you stand there, you stick it in, you just you know. That's
he says squirt up. I'm picturing him like ass up like a fountain.
He's just like let it just squirt around the bathroom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Will Tantra was talking about this very thing the other day at the shoot, and he was saying that he says that the proper way to douche is to just kind of stay relaxed, like don't clench your hole, and like let it wash up and just kind of fall out. Like if you don't clench down and hold it, you just kind of stay open, and it's like a little fountain.
Cleaning a bowl, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There are a few times I've done this in my life, and I think that this is a fair question because there are angles that you have to worry about. There are certain times where if I'll do it from one angle, a little bit might like come out in the midst of doing it versus a different angle where it's all there. I didn't write this question. But this is a fair question.
Well, question, Matthew.
Also, though, Will he's using a different device. He's using the shower attachment.
Oh yeah, he was using the shower head.
So he's using a continuous stream of water.
Wait,
he says it about the bulbs too. Matthew
wrote
did.
this question, Matt.
I didn't write this question. How do you know he's using a shower attachment?
Because I was in the house with him for fucking 5 days.
No, that's not the guy who asked the question.
That's what I'm thinking right now.
No. Yeah, different people. So no, but there's a shower attachment that you can buy that
I'm
like
not that advanced.
and it has a tip on it, and you can put it in, and because there's this continuous stream, it can be going in and out, I guess, essentially at the same time. But I just have a douche thing. I think I need to get the shower attachment.
He says it's the same thing for the bulb, though.
Yeah.
He says you do the very same thing with the bulb.
The bulb like goes all the way in you.
You don't have to.
Well, okay, but also the bulb thing I need to keep refilling. And so if I just had a shower attachment, I could just fucking let it run continuously
You should
until
just
I'm
do
empty.
what Calvin did.
Oh,
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gatorade.
Yeah. He just used the water bottle with the tip, you know, the one that with the tip that comes up. And he was like, we were like, should we go and grab your douche? He's like, oh, don't even sweat it. Just get me one of those water bottles. I was like, huh?
And I was like, I'm gonna send him a douche, but I was like, I don't want to mess with his success because he has a great track record.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to introduce a new technique that he's gonna be unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
If he just uses a water bottle with the tip.
And it was clean the whole shoot.
I think so. I don't know. Yeah.
Not positive. Yeah. I'm gonna say he was.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. I used to use that in college when I was really ratchet. Just the Poland Springs bottle with the tip. Fill it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt's making all kinds of faces.
Wait, did it have like the piece to the bottle where you had to like you could like squirt it in, or was it just the open top?
Squirt.
Oh, it was like a milk jug, like
a milk jug. No,
it's like
the milk jugs have those.
No, it was the kind that has the little pull top that you squirt out. A sports top is what it's called, right?
So you like pop the top off, and then it's like a little nipple. Like
Having said
water
that,
nipple.
we still haven't answered the question, which is: do you squat? Do you squirt? Do you bend over on all fours?
It's a squat.
I say whatever's comfortable.
I don't think it really matters what angle your body is in. Like I stand and insert it, fill up my butt.
Some people do like stand, like do like a handstand while the water's inside them, and then like go sit back down and let it come wash out. It's kind of your own personal ritual.
Yeah.
Whatever's working. But I would say you definitely want to move around because there are little folds and stuff. So if you kind of move and
I never thought about doing that.
A little wiggle.
Yeah.
Because you want like there's little shelves and things inside there, like folds of skin. So depending on where the water is, you don't want a water pocket just surprising someone eating your ass. That's not fun.
All right.
True.
All right.
Squid up.
Squid it up. Question number 2. Anyone?
I wanted to let you know how much I enjoyed your videos. I'm 66 years old, and you have offered an entirely different perspective on age and sex. It offers me a little hope when I haven't had sex in years. Can you advise in one of your videos good sites for me to meet gay guys? They seem to be all They seem to be all about sex. Obtaining gay friends is about all I can expect. Thanks, and keep up the good work.
So first of all, like, there's two things there. It sounds like he wants sex, but then he's saying like he can't get sex, so can I at least get friends? And I think the assumption there that he's basing this on is like something that I know to be untrue, because I mean, I've just been reviewing applications for our tantric retreat in September, and a lot of the guys are in their 60s and 70s, and they have very robust sex lives. And having said that, like, if you literally are looking to meet friends, I think it's going to, again, depend on where you are.
Mhm.
Palm Springs, we have great walking groups. There's all these meetup.com groups. There's dinner groups of gay men. Like, there's some really great organized groups that you can probably tap into, but it's going to depend where you're at.
True. Yeah, I don't know what kind of resources are available, but I also have a different perspective. I think having sex with friends is like a good way. You already have like a rapport and trust, and if there are other men that want to experience, it doesn't mean you have to. You can do different things with them or have different levels of sexual connection with them, but assuming that there's already communication in place and a level of comfort, that could be a good place to explore too.
That's
Any
fair.
other thoughts?
At the end of the day, I mean, it still works. Go have sex. And if it doesn't have sex anyway. I don't know. I don't think the man should limit himself. When I was reading the question, it actually saddened me a little bit, because I'm like, to think that just because you're 66, you think that you can't do something you want to do anymore.
Yeah.
Well, he's saying, can you advise where to meet guys? Like, he's asking for it. He's not saying he doesn't have it. He's asking, can we in the videos show?
He says he hasn't had sex in years, and he said obtaining gay friends is all I can expect.
Yeah,
which
all
to me
I can
says that he wants to have sex and hire a sex worker. Or I mean, Norm is 84 years old, who we filmed with, and he has a video we did last year where he said, at 83 years of age, I'm having the best sex of my life. So, you know, he's got almost 2 decades on this guy.
I'm going to tell Gary he needs to go on Google and he needs to look this stuff up. He needs to start looking for older gay men looking for sex, older gay men groups. I don't know. Just, it's out there. Or go on Grindr. You're going to find somebody that wants to have sex with you.
Daddy hunt.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. It also he doesn't have to limit himself just to older men too. Like, there are still people out there who are younger who do seek out older guys.
Chad.
Hey, Gary. Hey, Gary, what's up? No, but I'm serious. I think ageism plays a large part, where we assume once you reach a certain age, you're only entitled to hook up with people at the same age level as you.
Yep.
And that's not true. That's definitely not true. Is it the more common thing? Like, yeah, sure, but not the only thing.
I've come across beautiful men in my lifetime that have literally said to me, "You're not old enough." And I'm like, excuse me?
Excuse the fuck out of me.
Exactly. So, I mean, like, it's just, to Chad, to your point, you're right. Like, it doesn't feel like that's gonna happen. That's not the norm, quote unquote, but it's out there. You just got to go after it. And you got to keep trying.
Keep trying, Gary.
All right, last question. Let's see if we can do this one really quick. I love listening to your podcast. I'm curious what you and your crew are up to for Pride. What events or prides are you attending this year? I'd love to see you. I think, honestly, the only one I'm going to is Providence Pride.
When is that?
I don't know. It's like the middle of the month. Providence, Rhode Island Pride. I'm prided out. Every day is Pride for me. So
Sure.
You're going to Boston.
I'll be in Boston this Saturday for Pride.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be in transit on the way to Sweden, so I'm not going to be. I mean, San Francisco Pride is that weekend. Yeah.
I'm going to New York Pride for the first time, so because we're doing trap yoga the same weekend. So I'm gonna stay in the city all weekend and go. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
That is fun.
Well, and if you want to celebrate Pride in a special way, go to himeros.tv/pride to save 60% off your membership. It's as little as $13.99 per month. So there you go. Next week, we will talk about a video titled The Dancer. Finn, where can people find you?
www.finndeerhart.com, FINNDEERHART.com. I almost gave my address.
The suspense. Yeah. Okay. Well, yep. And Chad, where can people find you?
Toronto.
Oh,
Is your name Chad? Oh, and Matt, where can people find you?
I thought you said Matthew. Don't worry about it. I'm embarrassed now. Find me here next week.
All right. Thanks so much for listening. And as always, more.
2.
Come.